Good Thursday morning to you. Yesterday I was in a meeting where an interesting question was posed. What have been the challenges and the successes that have come from COVID? Now, the team of people I was meeting with were from all different backgrounds. Not everyone was a pastor and not everyone worked in the church. And it was kind of fascinating to listen to how COVID had affected a dentist or had affected a law practice. I certainly shared some of the joys that I have found in this time that just seems very heavy and unknown and uncertain. At the end of our meeting, the moderator, the person in charge of our board, her name is Deborah. She is a beautiful, faithful woman. She said this: God is using this time to reestablish an intimacy with us, the invitation to be still and participate with Him in His great story. Now, there's several things about the way she worded it that I think is just brilliant. First of all, God is using this time. We have a lot of discussion on what God causes and what God allows. And sometimes, depending on your theology, you might believe that God punishes in a way that allows for the hurt of this world to affect you. And maybe you just believe that God works through the hurt, that really the punishments that you receive are part of your own free will. But I like the way Deborah says it. God is using this time. It doesn't really matter what your theology is. It matters that God is at work. And I know in my own theology, in my own reading of scriptures, at the heart of it, at the end of the day, that's all that really matters to me. Not why it's happening, but that God is at work in the midst of it. God is using this time to reestablish an intimacy with us. I love that word. I love that word intimacy because it's so more broadly understood than we often use it for. Intimacy is a closeness. It's a connection. It's a beautiful opportunity for us to grow together. God is using this time to create an intimacy, to invite us into an intimacy with Him. I don't know about you, but in my life, I often find myself consumed by what is happening in my day, in my life, in my world. And I have to be really careful to not forget that it's not my day, not my life, not my world. It is God's. And I just simply get to participate in it. See, it's that reorientation of how we think that changes how we understand God at work. God is reorienting this time to remind us of a relationship that God has always wanted with us. From way back in the garden when God would walk with us at dusk to now. We don't have to seek Him. He's here. We don't have to hurry up and find Him. He's right there, right beside us. Seeking and desiring a relationship from us. We might better say that God is the seeker because we are the ones who are often hiding. Like Adam and Eve who hid in the bushes from God. We're the ones who hide from God. This passage from Deborah, this quote that she used, God is using this time to reestablish an intimacy with us, the invitation to be still and participate with Him in His great story reminds me of the Gospel of John, John 15. Abide in me as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them will bear much fruit, because apart from me you can do nothing. Whoever does not abide in me is thrown away like a branch that withers. Such branches are gathered and thrown into the fire and burned. We are participating in God's great story. It's not God who is participating in our story. It's not God who is participating in our narrative. We are invited into a relationship and to participate in the story that God created long ago. A story that includes His Son who redeemed us. A story that includes you and me. The question that was asked to us, what are the challenges and successes that we have found in COVID? My response is that I feel like a lot of the successes have come out of the challenges that we've had to face. The newness, the not being able to rely on what's always been done. What would you say to that answer? What are the challenges and the successes that you are facing? And as you reflect on that, where is God? Is God participating in your story, or are you participating in his? Is this a punishment for something you believe you've done, or is God at work? Is God at work recreating, reestablishing a relationship and a desire to be your God since the beginning of time? That's how I choose to see this. I choose to see everything that we're facing, no matter what the challenge is today. I choose to see it, that I indeed am being invited into an intimacy that God has longed for. And to be quite honest, in my faith, I long for. So, what does your day look like? How are you seeing things? What does it mean for you to be invited into an intimate relationship with God? Jesus says it clearly, abide in me as I abide in you. We can't do anything apart from God. That's what our faith teaches us, and to be quite honest, that's where our comfort and our hope comes from. Hope you have a great day.